Hello students, today I'll explain you Lesson 7, the last leaf from Moments Supplementary Reader in English. This lesson, the story is written by O. Henry. The last leaf is the story of two young artists, and especially one out of them, whose name is John C., falls sick, and she believes that when the ivy leaf outside her window, when the last leaf of that creeper will fall down, she will also die the same moment. So this story actually is the story of sacrifice of an old painter whose name is Behrman. He sacrifices his own life to give a new life to John C. He motivates her to live her life, and in his efforts he loses his life. So let's see what happens in the last leaf. It is autumn, the wind is blowing hard, and it is raining heavily. All the leaves on an ivy creeper have fallen except one. Why doesn't the last leaf fall? So, ivy creeper actually is known to be a very strong creeper. It doesn't get destroyed even in heavy rainfall or very adverse circumstances. It stays. It doesn't die, it doesn't fall. So it's known for its strength. So now there is one leaf which is left in the creeper. Only one leaf is left. But even that leaf is not falling. What is the reason behind it? Let's see what happens in the story. Sue and John C., two young artists, shared a small flat. The flat was on the third story of an old house. John C. fell very seriously ill. In November, she had pneumonia. She would lie in her bed without moving, just gazing out of the window. Sue, her friend, became very worried. She sent for the doctor. Although he came every day, there was no change in John C.'s condition. So once what happened that out of two good artists, very nice artists, Sue and John C., John C. fell very seriously ill. She suffered from pneumonia, and because of that, now she was not improving. The doctor was coming every day, but she was not improving, and there was no change in her condition. One day, the doctor took Sue aside and asked her, "Is anything worrying John C.?" "No," replied Sue, "but why do you ask?" The doctor said, "John C., it seems, has made up her mind that she is not going to get well. If she doesn't want to live, medicines will not help her." So one day, doctor asked Sue that if anything was troubling or worrying John C., if John C. was worried about something and it was troubling her. But Sue said, "No, there is nothing that sort of thing that is troubling her." So the doctor said that I am asking you this thing because her condition is not improving. I am giving her very good medicines and very good treatment, but even then she is not improving. It seems that she has made up her mind that she doesn't want to live. If it will remain this way, then she will not survive because my medicines will not help her. She tried her best to make John C. take an interest in things around her. She talked about clothes and fashions, but John C. did not respond. John C. continued to lie still on her bed. Sue brought her drawing board into John C.'s room and started painting. To take John C.'s mind off her illness, she whistled while working. So when Sue came to know this, she wanted to distract John C.'s attention from her illness. She talked to her about clothes and fashion, but John C. did not take any interest, and she remained lying in her bed and thinking about her illness. So she wanted to do something that could change her mind. So she brought her painting board inside John C.'s room and she started painting over there. And while painting, she started whistling so that she could distract John C.'s attention a little bit. But even then, John C. did not change her mind. Suddenly, Sue heard John C. whisper something. She quickly rushed to the bed and heard John C. continuing backwards. She was looking out of the window and was saying 12. After some time, she whispered 11. and then 10, then 9, 8, 7. Sue anxiously looked out of the window. She saw an old ivy creeper climbing halfway up the brick wall opposite their window. In the strong wind outside, the creeper was shedding its leaves. Now, because it was autumn, that was very natural for all the trees and plants to shed their leaves. So, the ivy creeper outside Johnson's window was also shedding its leaves one by one. But something new Sue noticed. She heard Johnson continuously saying something. So when she went closer, she heard that she was counting backward. 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7. In this way, she was counting backward after some time. So Sue was very anxious to see that what she is counting. So when she looked outside, she found an ivy creeper over there. That creeper was having some leaves, and because of autumn, the leaves were falling one by one. So those leaves only Johnsy was counting. "What is it, dear?" Sue asked. "6, whispered Johnsy. "They are falling faster now. 3 days ago, there were almost 100 leaves. There are only 5 left now. It's autumn," said Sue, "and the leaves will fall." "When the last leaf falls, I will die," said Johnsy with finality. "I have known this for the last 3 days." So, Johnsy was counting the leaves, and she was saying that 3 days ago there were hundreds of leaves on this creeper, but now only 5 have left. So Sue told her that because it's autumn, the leaves will fall. That's very natural. But Johnsy said no. "When the last leaf will fall, I will die, and I know this very clearly." "Oh, that's nonsense," replied Sue. "What have old ivy leaves to do with your getting well? The doctor is confident that you will get better." Johnsy did not say anything. Sue went and brought her a bowl of soup. So Sue scolded her. She said, "What nonsense are you talking? What these leaves are going to do with your getting better? Doctor says that you will get better day by day if you take medicines and you think positively." But Johnsy said nothing. And Sue went out to bring her a bowl of soup. "I don't want any soup," said Johnsy. "I'm not hungry. Now there are only 4 leaves left. I want to see the last one fall before it gets dark. Then I will sleep forever." So she continued to say the same thing, that leaves are falling one by one, and when the last leaf will fall, I will die. That's why I'm not hungry. I don't want to eat. I don't want to take anything. Sue sat on Johnsy's bed, kissed her, and said, "You're not going to die. I can't draw the curtain, for I need the light. I want to finish the painting and get some money for us. Please, my dear." So now she was worried about Johnsy's health. So she went and sat on her bed. She kissed her and said that "You are not going to die. I will not draw these curtains because I want light. I want to draw this painting. I want to make this painting. I have to finish it because I want some money for us. Please, my dear friend," she begged Johnsy, "promise not to look out of the window while I paint." "All right," said Johnsy. "Finish your painting soon, for I want to see the last leaf fall. I'm tired of waiting. I have to die. So let me go away peacefully like one of those poor, tired leaves." Now Johnsy wanted to look outside, but Sue said that no, you won't look outside, and she drew the curtains. So at the same time she told her that I have to finish my painting soon. So Johnsy said, "Okay, finish your painting because I want to look outside. I cannot wait any more. I am very much tired of waiting for this leaf to fall. So when this leaf will fall, I will also die. I have to look out. So I want to die like these poor leaves." "Try to sleep," said Sue. "I have to paint an old miner. I will call Behrman up to be my model." She rushed down. Bahman lived on the ground floor. So now Sue thought of an idea to save Johnsy. She said, "Okay, you try to sleep. I'm painting. Now I'm thinking of painting an old miner, and for that I want an old man whose name is Berman. He used to live on the ground floor in the same building." So she said, "I'm going to call Berman to be my model. He will become my model, and I'm going to paint an old miner. So you just try to sleep." So she rushed down to Berman's apartment. He was a 60-year-old painter. His lifelong dream was to paint a masterpiece, but that had remained a dream. Sue poured out. Sue poured out her worries to Berman. She told him how Johnsy was convinced that she would die when the last leaf fell. So Sue went to Berman, who was a 60-year-old painter. Now this painter, because he was a very good painter, he wanted to paint one masterpiece. That was his lifelong dream. And this dream had not come true because he could not make any masterpiece. So she went to him and told him that what was troubling her. She told him about Johnsy's belief that she will die as the last leaf of the ivy creeper falls down. "Is she stupid?" asked Berman. "How can she be so foolish? She's running a high temperature," complained Sue. "She refuses to eat or drink, and that worries me a lot." Now Sue shared her worries about Johnsy, that she is having a very high fever and she is not taking any medicines, or she is not eating or drinking anything, and I'm very much worried about her. So she wanted Berman to help her. "I will come with you and see Johnsy," Berman said. So Berman decided to go and see what was troubling Johnsy. They tiptoed into the room. Tiptoed means they walked very quietly into Johnsy's room. Johnsy was sleeping. Sue drew the curtains together and they went to the next room. She peered out through the window. There was only one leaf on the creeper. It was raining heavily and an icy cold wind was blowing. It seemed as though the leaf would fall any minute now. Berman did not say a word. He went back to his room. Now what happened that Sue took Berman to Johnsy's room, and she was sleeping, so she took him to another room, and from there she saw, when she looked outside, she found that there was only one leaf left on the tree, on the ivy creeper. And what kind of the weather was outside? It was very cold, it was raining heavily, and the icy cold wind was blowing. And Sue knew that like all other leaves, the last leaf will fall down any moment. So Berman did not say any word to Sue, and he left Johnsy's house, Johnsy's apartment, and went back to his room. Johnsy woke up next morning. In a feeble voice, she asked Sue to draw the curtains. Sue was nervous. She drew back the curtains very reluctantly. So, next morning, when Johnsy woke up, she asked Sue to draw the curtains away. Now, Sue was very much nervous to draw the curtains because she knew that the leaf must have fallen because it rained very heavily last night. "Oh," Sue exclaimed as she looked at the vine creeper. "Look, there is still one leaf." So when Sue looked outside, she was very much surprised. Sue looked outside, she was very much surprised to see the last leaf, and she told Johnsy that there was still one leaf left on the creeper. "It looks quite green and healthy. In spite of the storm and the fierce winds, it didn't fall." So when Johnsy woke up, Sue showed her that, "Look, the last leaf is still there. Although it rained very heavily last night and the wind was blowing, fiercely, still the leaf did not fall. I heard the wind last night, said Johnsy. I thought it would have fallen. It will surely fall today, then I will die. So Johnsy was repeating the same words, that it did not fall, although the wind was blowing very fiercely. It was raining very heavily. I heard it. But the leaf did not fall. So she said, doesn't bother. If it did not fall last night, it will surely fall today, and then I will die. Johnsy smiled. You won't die, said Sue energetically. You have to live for your friends. What would happen to me if you die? Johnsy smiled weakly and closed her eyes. After every hour or so, she would look out of the window and find the leaf still there. It seemed to be clinging to the creeper. So, Sue told her that no, you will not die, because you have to live for your friends. What will happen to me if you will die? Johnsy did not reply. She responded very weakly and closed her eyes. And after every hour she was looking outside the window, but every time she found that the last leaf was still there. In the evening, there was another storm, but the leaf did not fall. Johnsy lay for a long time looking at the leaf. Then she called out to Sue. So what happened that in the evening, another storm came, but the leaf did not fall. Johnsy continuously looked at the leaf, but it still did not fall. So she called Sue. I have been a bad girl. You have looked after me so lovingly, and I have not cooperated with you. I have been depressed and gloomy. The last leaf has shown me how wicked I have been. I have realized that it is a sin to want to die. Now Johnsy had realized that she had been a very bad girl because she was all the time thinking of dying. And now she was regretting that Sue had been so good to her. She had been looking after her, she had been loving her, and Johnsy was not cooperating because she wanted to die. So now she realized her mistake, and she was admitting that she was very much wicked because she only thought of dying. She did not think of Sue, she did not think of getting well. And she realized her mistake. Sue hugged Johnsy, then she gave her lots of hot soup and a mirror. Johnsy combed her hair and smiled brightly. So Sue hugged her because she was very happy that now her friend is back, and she gave her a lot of hot soup so that she could get well soon, and she gave her a mirror so that she could comb her hair and she could look better. In the afternoon, the doctor came. After examining his patient, he told Sue, Johnsy now has the will to live. I am confident she will recover soon. Now I must go downstairs to see Berman. He is also suffering from pneumonia, but I am afraid there is no hope for him. So when doctor came in the afternoon, he told Sue that now Johnsy is looking better, and because she has decided that she will live, I am very much confident that now she will recover. I am giving her good medicines so she will get well soon. At the same time, he told Sue about Berman, that he is not well because he is suffering from pneumonia, and I am afraid that he will not be able to live anymore because his condition is very bad. The next morning, Sue came and sat on Johnsy's bed. Taking Johnsy's hands in hers, she said, I have something to tell you. Mr. Berman died of pneumonia this morning. He was ill for only 2 days. The first day, the janitor found him on his bed. His clothes and shoes were wet and he was shivering. He had been out in that stormy night. So next morning, Sue came and told Johnsy about Berman, that he had died. And she also told that the caretaker of the building, who is the janitor, he found him on his bed with his wet clothes and shoes. So He caught pneumonia and suffered a severe pneumonia because the whole night he was out in the rain. They found a ladder and a lantern still lighted lying near his bed. There were also some brushes and green and yellow paints on the floor near the ladder. "Johnsy dear," said Sue, "look out of the window. Look at that ivy leaf. Haven't you wondered why it doesn't flutter when the wind blows? That's Berman's masterpiece. He painted it the night the last leaf fell." So now this mystery was disclosed by Sue. She told Johnsy that in Berman's room, along with his wet shoes and clothes, one ladder and a lantern, and also some brushes and green yellow paints were found on the floor. That night he died. So now she discloses Johnsy the truth that how that leaf could not fall, because it was the masterpiece of Berman. He had painted the leaf when the last leaf had already fallen. So that night, when there was heavy wind and heavy rain and the last leaf fell, at that time Johnsy was sleeping in her bed. So he went out in the icy cold wind and rain and painted that last leaf, because of which, when Johnsy woke up in the morning, she noticed the leaf still on the creeper. And the whole day she had looked at the creeper, but the leaf did not fall. And this thought changed Johnsy's idea of dying. So now Sue told her that it was Berman's masterpiece because he had painted it in the heavy rain and wind just to give a new hope of living to Johnsy. This story is written by O. Henry, and in this story he has very well explained that how somebody's sacrifice can give a new life to someone. So in this story, Berman sacrifices his life to give new hope of living to Johnsy, who had made up her mind of dying when the last leaf of the creeper falls. So he painted the leaf that would never fall. So this leaf of ivy creeper, the last leaf of ivy creeper, became the masterpiece of Berman.